got a situation in your love or relationship, get in touch with us. We'll give you important advice that could save your relationship. We call that the Tich's Love and Relationship Corner every Wednesday. And our listener tonight writes, Dear Tich and Dr. Neaves, I've been with a boyfriend for 3 years now. 3 years of laughter, plans, and whispers are forever. Marriage has started to live in our conversations. But there is a truth I have kept quiet. He speaks of the future with light in his eyes, a home filled with 2, maybe 3 children. And I sit there smiling with a secret in my chest. The truth is, I do not want children. Not now, not ever. For months, I've been asking myself, should I tell him? Is it too late after 3 years? I'm terrified that if I wait until after I do, I will break the very person I love the most. It feels selfish to say it out loud, but it would be crueler to stay silent and let him build a future on a dream I cannot give him. Please help me find the words. How do I tell the man I love that I want a life with him and him alone? Not the life with children he has imagined as part of our family. This is a letter which is written by Minky, and obviously let's welcome the doctor. Good evening, Doc. How you doing? It's Wednesday night. Welcome to African Diaries.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Thanks for that letter, Minky. Gosh, it would seem like you're quite resolute. Absolutely. And there's a resoluteness there, right? There seems to have been a decision made quite early on with regards to that decision. And holding that inside one's chest like that and inside your heart can be quite agonizing. And it's great that you've reached out. Good that we're going to talk about it this evening. There's nothing more upsetting and potentially derailing for the relationship than possibly holding on to something like that. And so I would really pursue a path of thinking in and around, how can I take a good deep look at myself here with regards to this and just ask, is this a season in my life, or is this my whole life that I'm not wanting to experience that with my partner? I've known so many people who were adamant that they're not going to have any children, and then a few years later things change, and then there they are, they're having a bunch of them. So I would say that would really need to come into the decision around sharing whether or not this is a permanent sort of attitude or stance or lifestyle that you would like to live. And I'm sure there's a reason for that also. And would love to hear more.
Yeah, and let's invite the author to the show tonight. Minky, welcome to African Diaries. How you doing?
I am doing very well, thank you.
Why don't you want kids? Minky?
Sorry?
Why don't you want any kids?
Honestly, I don't have the desire to become a mother. I'm okay with the life that I'm living and traveling around with my partner, not having those responsibilities for the rest of my life. So I think I'm okay with that.
No late nights with babies crying, not waking up in the middle of the night to change the diapers. None of that.
Not that I hate kids, but I do love kids. Don't get me wrong. Just that me being a parent for the rest of my life and for the rest of the children's lives, it's not going to be good for me because I need to be like mentally very, very healthy. Number one, physically. Like I need to be very healthy in every aspect, even financially. So I don't think me psychologically I will ever be ready to have kids.
Right.
Doc,
wow.
What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, just so it sounds like you've really done a lot of inside work and you're quite clear with that. And I have absolute respect for that. You know, this is your choice and it's your life. And gosh, man, I've got 3 kiddies and it's a massive investment. Your life certainly changes. It certainly isn't yours for many of those years. One is so dedicated to that. And it sounds like you'd like to rather dedicate your time and your energy and resources to other things. And that's wonderful. The concern with this is obviously your partner seems to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. And what I would just really consider with this is just how much of a possible deal breaker it could be ultimately for the relationship, to say, keep it secret still and then only let him know later on, once there's a deeper commitment, because, would you want to keep that experience from him also? He ultimately would possibly like to experience that. And so it would certainly come into the territory of a deal breaker, meaning it could actually decide the future of the relationship. How would you feel about that? I know those are quite big words to use, but those are major decisions, to have or not have children.
I know it's going to be a deal breaker, a big one, of course, because I could see in his eyes that he really wants kids.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very selfish for me to say no. If he loves me, then he has to also say no, he doesn't want to have kids and all that. No, he needs to have his own life also. I can't just hold him back because I love him. Yes, it's going to be very painful, but I can't just keep this secret for the rest of our lives. And I don't want him to just decide engaging me tomorrow. Then after getting married, I told him that, babe, listen, I actually don't want to have kids. And it's a waste of the man's time and also my time. So that's why I need your advice on how to actually really come out to him without, yes, I'm going to hurt him, obviously. I don't know how to actually use the right words to let the man that I love, that I actually don't want the life that he is picturing for us.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, my heart goes out to you. I'm almost heartbroken sitting here just feeling some of the anxiety that you must be having. I'd like to ask that question. I know you sounded so adamant about that, and you've, gone far into your life in your mind, and you're quite resolute that you don't want to have that responsibility. You've also spoken about just not quite being that type of person psychologically, etc. Is that your truth, or is there a possibility that later, in a couple of years' time, could you see yourself ever perhaps having then maybe even just one child, perhaps down the line?
To be honest, no, not even one. Because I know a kid is your whole responsibility. Even when they are 50 years old of age, they're still going to say, Mama, I don't want that. I just want to live my life, honestly. I came into this world, like, alone.
So, Minky, do you have any sisters? Do you have any sisters or brothers?
Yes, I have a big brother, which is just the two of us.
Okay.
Right. Well, the way you would go about wording something like this is, I always say to people, the sooner the better, obviously, right? And you would know the best time where you guys are most comfortable, and he would be sort of open to hearing it. It sounds like it will be quite a new revelation. It's been 3 years, if I heard correctly, with the relationship.
Yes, correct.
It does surprise me a little bit that children haven't really come up in that relationship dynamic so far as a discussion. And so you can open it up and just highlight for him that I'm feeling so in love, and I'm knowing we're moving to a deeper commitment. I don't want this to be the end, and just share your honesty. At the same time, though, I don't want to deprive you of this experience. So I would love to continue with you, but I don't want to be selfish, like you said, and just be absolutely honest about that too. But it will ultimately be his decision. The thing is, though, and I've seen it with a few other men before, is they often say, no, you know what, it'll be fine. We'll make it up somewhere. Somehow I can, give my time and energy to other experiences where there are children. And then 8 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, he does hold it against the person, sadly, because he hasn't then had the opportunity to, so it's almost like you're going to have to almost mention the word that this could be a deal breaker, and I really want you to have that experience, to the point perhaps where you might need to be the one to actually look at this and, for those reasons, end the relationship. How do you, gosh, and just saying that feels so hard, but it is sadly a major life event that you would be depriving him of. Yeah.
Minky, let me ask you a question. I'm going to be the devil's
that.
advocate here, Minky. I'm going to ask you a very honest but strange question. If he decides he's going to marry you, okay, and no kids with you, but he goes elsewhere to get a child, how would you feel?
Oh, God. This is a huge one. Obviously, the child is going to be part of our lives.
So still a no.
Oh, my God. I would think about that. It might be a maybe. It might be a maybe. But I am not 100% sure that I would allow the man that I love to impregnate someone else. Obviously, he's going to definitely fall in love with the mother. Just going to be there, just watching them, raising that child together. They might as well be together then. So I think I'm going to have to call off the relationship and, yeah, I don't have a choice.
Yeah. And first have the conversation with him. Look, I love that suggestion. There's many ways to skin a cat in inverted commas. So, Tich, that was a great suggestion there. Sometimes there are alternatives, and it sounds like there's such an investment in this relationship and that this is the love of your life and it's been 3 years. Just open it up as a discussion, and who knows what he comes back with maybe. Maybe he's got some other great ideas of how these things can go about happening. And, he might be somebody who might be content to just to, get a whole bunch of puppies and dogs and cats and whatnot and get that maternal instinct out that way, perhaps, But if it is a big enough the dream of his, then sadly, it's tough to see a way forward then.
Yeah. No, I hear you, doctor. Thank you for that.
Yeah, gosh, and I'm so sorry. The difficulty with it also is because you have such a great relationship. To end things there would be really, really difficult. But it would need to be done in a way that you give him the opportunity ultimately to, grieve the loss of the relationship, and then also ultimately heal, and then perhaps find somebody that he can have that experience with, because it's tough to end the relationship and then not stay in contact, right? But sometimes people do that, and then they just drift after 2-3 years, and then they get back together and they break up and they get back together. So I urge you to really look at this and decide, if that's my decision, then I need to make a good clean break, but with a lot of no contact and a good sort of separation, so that he can actually heal and move on in enough time to ultimately have a family one day again.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
More sense, yeah. No, I hear you. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Well, hey, Minky, thank you for having written to us. We hope that somehow you can still save the relationship. You never know. Maybe he'll say, yeah, just the two of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm hoping for the best, though.
All right. Minky, all the best. And Minky, keep your heart open. I can tell you now, there's a lot of men out there also, that perhaps would one day have the same life in mind. And life is incredible. And sometimes you think it's a good relationship now. God may have something very different planned for you with somebody perhaps more aligned to your values, and will ultimately be a much better partner for you. So keep that heart open, okay?
We'll do, doctor. Thank you.
Okay. Minky, if you ever change your mind, get in touch with us. All right? We can do a whole different show.
Sure.
Thank you, Minky.
Yeah.
Wish you the best. Right. Hey, Doc. Thank you.
All right. Tough one, but thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good week.
Yeah, very tough.
Bye.
That's how we wrap it up for this week's Love and Relationship Corner right here on African Diaries. And Dr. Nicholas Neaves will join us again next Wednesday right here on Channel Africa.